Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Scribble Time with Panda. I'm your host, Nolan, and today we're going to be drawing He-Man, Masters of the Universe. So let's get going. If you guys are in the chat, please, you can type in your sketch suggestions if you like, and I'll just be drawing for about an hour. Just drawing anything, and basically this is, for those of you who haven't tuned in before, this is a show where I just draw for fun. It's a live stream, so you can ask questions, chat about things, and I'll just do these drawings based on my panda and have them based on a certain theme. And so afterwards, I take those drawings and I put them on my website at punchingpandas.com/scribbletime. You can find a link in the description, but you can print those out for yourself and as coloring sheets if you like, and draw them as do with them as you wish, I suppose. And so there's just different themes I've done like Thomas Tank Engine, Batman, I've done Disney princesses, I think, and all sorts of characters, and everything is always every day is always a different theme. And on Wednesdays I tend to do traditional drawing with real pencils and paper, and I also put those for sale when I post them on social media. And you can find the links to my social media on my in the description below, so you can follow me at those channels. So anyways, I'm gonna go, and usually the way I go about trying to draw a certain character is I look up a bunch of references. So I have all these references that I use, and I've drawn a couple of He-Man characters before. I think let's go with, of course, the head honcho. So I actually never watched this show growing up as a kid. I'm a product of the 80s. I don't look like it, but I am. And so, but it was one of those shows that I wasn't really allowed to watch. I think more based because of it's just like, it's like the sorcery aspect of it. So, but I don't fault my parents for not letting me watch it. It's that let's just go like this so we can rotate so that way I don't have to rotate it later. I mean, I watched other shows like Transformers. For some reason I didn't watch G.I. Joe. I don't know exactly why. I wasn't particularly, maybe it wasn't that I remember it not being that interesting to me, but I mean, I wasn't into the other superhero things back then. But I do know, like, the toys have, if you have the toys, then that plays a big part into it. And I think He-Man was kind of that's kind of how it got its genesis. But yeah, I hope your weekend has been okay, been safe and fun, or uneventful for the most part, or maybe it wasn't uneventful. But either way, if you're just tuning in, today's theme is He-Man. So I'm gonna do I'll do. Obviously, I'm gonna also do Skeletor as well. It's always tricky whenever I try to draw like the sword, the panda carrying a sword, because it just doesn't, anatomically it just looks a little bit weird. I mean, we can, for us humans, we can bend our wrists and so forth as we please. So I'm still working on a few projects. I have a commission that I've been working on for a while. It's a non-panda commission, so those tend to be a little bit more involved because I actually have to draw the people. So have to draw the humans. So as a result, this one's a bit complex, and I'll post it on my other Instagram at at nolan.lee. That's where I post my non panda art and stuff that's a little bit a little bit less about pandas and more about traditional art stuff. So I haven't done a lot of traditional art in a while, so I'm kind of craving the urge to do something like that. Let's make that a little bit stubbier. So I did watch a film that was pretty interesting over the weekend, and it was called The Tale of Princess Kaguya. So I'm not sure, 100% confident I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's a film made by Studio Ghibli, and I actually enjoyed it a lot. One of the things that's really interesting about that film is that it's done in a very simple type of style. It looks simple, but I think it's actually fairly complex in terms of the planning required to make the film work and to be able to tell a feature-length story. I would say, like, if you plan on watching the film, it's actually... One thing I would probably notice that it's based on a Japanese folktale, and I didn't really have a good understanding of that. Or at first, I didn't really do any research into the story before I watched it. So there's a couple items in the story where it felt like it kind of jumped out as unexpected. I think, though, given the unfamiliarity with the Western audience with this book, that I still think they did a fairly decent job at communicating the ideas and the plot. Because there's a certain point in there where I got really confused. And, they had to express a lot of dialogue to make it work. And I think if I'm putting myself in as a someone who grew up in Japan and is fairly familiar with the story, that it might feel like, you have to really, it might feel a little bit boring, like, why do you have to talk about this? But so they had to line the toe there, but because I think you're also making this for an international audience too, so they have to understand what's going on. I think they did their best. It's not my favorite film that Studio Ghibli has made, but it is one that I did feel like it was a enjoyable experience. I think for those who are used to more Hollywood style of pacing, I think it doesn't really... It might feel a little bit boring, but to me, I actually enjoy things such as like taking a pause and being able to like not always have your story just be rushing all the time. To me, that's something that I don't see a lot of now. Like everything just feels very plot heavy, where it's like you go here. There doesn't seem to be much of a pace in terms of, or a thing where like you kind of get a chance to breathe. I see that, for example, when I watch a film like, or when I read a story like Wolf versus Cub. There, there's scenes where, full panels where nothing's really happening. And I think the thing I like about those serendipitous, not serendipitous, those moments of just, you're just looking at the background or looking at the scenery. I like them because it helps to, I think they serve a purpose at immersing you within the story. And so, so you kind of get a sense of like the sounds and the objects around. And I think if you're trying to tell a pretty complicated story, there's that line to toe when you're trying to just, you got a lot of information to go, because you also don't want to lose your audience and be like, this seems so boring, it's just pages and pages of, or it's just stories of, we're just watching like grass grow. But I think it's kind of nice to have those pause moments. I mean, sometimes like eating a meal, it's like, sometimes if eating the meal can feel aggressive, like if you're eating something really heavy and flavorful, and then other times it's more mild. You just want to just have something a little bit more calming for your stomach. For some reason this feels kind of weird. I think I have his legs too big. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. If you're drawing at home, sorry if it's and you're drawing on paper, I apologize for having to put you through this. So because in the end I'm trying to draw this as a coloring book, so hopefully you guys would enjoy coloring this later. Now, if there's anybody in the chat, please let me know if there's another character you guys would like to see drawn here. So I think I should put this over here. Maybe make a jagged line. Okay, so then we got our sword here. I'm gonna just stick with the I'm gonna stick with kind of like the 80s-ish look to everything. So if I wanted to do like the She-Ra version show, I feel like those designs are a lot different. Like it feels kind of weird to mishmash both of them. But so I was going to, if we do that topic in the future, I want to be able to at least like make it feel a little bit more coherent. So okay, I feel like this guy is going to be pretty evil, so I'm going to be like, give him panda ears. Actually, did I give him panda ears over here? Yeah, let's get him The thing about Skeletor, I think it's just. Bring this over. Got this little hoodie here, kind of drawn pretty like loose at the moment. Okay, so we got that. Alright, so we got our Skeletor. Oh, he has his staff too. It's got some kind of devil goat type thing. All right, let's do She-Ra next. Well, let's try to. It's always important to save. So I'm gonna go scribble time. I thought I saved this already. Look at how many scribble times we have. Man, so many. Since March. Wow. Mom's been doing this for 3 months now. It's crazy. Well, again, all of these are available at punchingpandas.com/scribbletime. So they're there for your enjoyment. Okay, gotta add those pinned ears. Maybe I have to make these. I think I need to boost these up. Let's boost them up like so. Excuse me. Let's see. So we got our Shira there, and then let's try another round. What should I do? Should I do Beastman, or should I do Merman or Battle Cat? Lots of opportunities here. I have done Orko before. I have drawn him before, but maybe I'll try a different character. Let's see. I do remember E faces, many faces. This one's pretty challenging. Definitely a lot of moving parts here. I think it's always... I was like looking at it, I was thinking, should I tackle a robotic panda? I was like, usually whenever I try doing that, it always ends up blowing up in my face and being more of a challenge. I mean, it's not challenge. I mean, it's just takes me a little bit longer because I have to think about it. I actually have to be careful about the geometry as opposed to anything else. So I guess one way of saying is I don't I don't care about the geometry whenever I'm drawing for real, drawing other forms, or at least it feels like I have a little bit more latitude with that. It's funny, it's like everything is robotic with him, but then he has like, he still wears a loincloth. So, I know. I'm being deconstructionist. That's a big word, kids. Okay, Man at Arms. We got She-Ra, Skeletor. Maybe you can do another. Let's see, Prince Adam as He-Man, and then we'll do. Let's see here. What would be the next one? Hello, Hector, in the chat. I think I got time for a couple more. We'll do Orko, I guess. Orko is... I was going to start Orko later, but... Orko should go relatively quick. All right, let's see here. Let's shrink it down just a little bit. All right, I think I got that. Trap jaw. Let's do trap jaw. Maybe that would be one. I do remember when I was reading or when I was watching the Toys That Made Us. I think like at this point they were like, let's just make any kind of toy. Let's put robots. Let's put sorcerers and dungeons and dragons and all this stuff. And let's throw in robots. Actually, I feel like I need to clean this up. This feels a little bit weird. Doesn't feel quite as organic. There we go. I think that feels a little bit better, don't you think? All right, let's go to trap jaw. Question: do you use an old version of Photoshop like CS6? I'm actually subscribed to the cloud, so that's what I use. That's what I'm working with right now. All right, so trap jaw is like. That's a good question. How do I go attacking this one? Do I use the gun or do I use... What kind of hand do I give him? More machinery. How about that? He's got like a motorcycle helmet or something like that. Boxing glove with a gun coming out of the front with the boxing glove. I don't know if you can use guns anymore. Apparently, I heard that they can't let Elmer. I guess they're rebooting the Looney Tunes, and so like they don't draw Elmer Fudd with a gun. So I guess he hunts Bugs Bunny with like a scythe or something like that. I saw a picture of it. I'm like, I feels like it kind of loses its bite, doesn't it? That's what That's what happens when you start remaking stuff. Certain sensibilities don't stand the test of time, and as a result, it's not the same character anymore. That's all I gotta say. Is like the new Mary Poppins movie. That's not Mary Poppins. That's just a different movie. It's a fan. All these are now fan films. That's what it feels like. Some of them I feel like last the test of time, or can span the test of time. I think. But I feel like in general, stories are starting to feel a little bit like they're being remade because you want to capitalize on, or I mean, you want to just grow an audience based on, or nurture that audience who loves that stuff over the years. But don't get too excited. I don't get too excited about it because I know it's not going to be quite the same. Because like when you're younger and you experience something, you have a very it's very, it's like if you're experiencing for the first time, that stays with you and has such an emotional connection. And so to kind of get that same magic, it's going to be challenging. Although you could say you can do that for younger kids now, but it just feels odd to me. Oh yeah, so he's got to have like gotta imagine his arm being cut out or something like that. So there's a part right there. It's kind of funny on that note with guns. Like, my son got a birthday gift where it was a bunch of these robots that transform into alphabets. So it's like, it's kind of like, yeah, so it's like Transformers but with alphabets, which is really cool. But it's funny because he actually grabbed the letter N, or grabbed the letter L, and he started like holding it like a handle, and then like went up to me and went like, I shot, or he said something like shot, and I'm like, at first I was kind of like shocked because I thought, wait, how does he learn how to like shoot a gun? But then I realized the week before he had went to the doctor's office, and so what he was doing, he was giving me a shot. He wasn't shooting me, he was giving me a shot. And I thought that was like kind of funny, but because he was holding it just like a gun, just by the handle, and so like that's how he was holding the letter L. So I just like left it as, I mean, I was gonna at first I was gonna like I almost had like a visceral reaction, or a sharp reaction, where I was like, no, we're not playing guns, that sort of thing. But then I realized, oh, he's just playing doctor. So anyways, thought that was kind of a funny anecdote. He seems a bit unbalanced actually. I'm gonna change that. This will be the last one of today. So I'm just gonna go through, try to correct this a little bit. Yeah, so that'll be like, for me, that was kind of a teachable moment for myself. It's like, you know what, just let him have fun, and then if he gets to that point, then we'll have that discussion. But okay. Alright, so there we have it. So there's Trapjaw. Thanks so much for... Yeah, it's a laser. It's a laser. Laser cannon. Yeah, I hear you. All right, well, I think that'll be it for today. So thanks a lot for hanging out. And for those of you who are watching this video later, I hope you guys enjoy it. You can download the coloring sheets at punchingpanda.com/scribbletime. The drawings will be there for your enjoyment to download and color. And if you do color it, feel free to send it over or post it online, and you know, maybe I might be able to catch it. Oh, I got at panda ears, right? So then we'll call this good. So feel free to mosey on over to punchingpandas.com/scribbletime to download these. Check out, you know, the rest of the artwork on Scribbletime at Punching Pandas. Also, feel free to subscribe to the mailing list as well. I post things like news and updates, and also you know, special coupons and such for my shop, which you can visit on the store as well. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy, and if you guys have any questions or have any comments, or if there's anything else you'd like to see on the show, please leave a comment in the below, and like this video too if you liked what you saw. And anyways, I'll just close it there, and hope you guys have a really great start to the week. We'll be here tomorrow at 2 p.m. right here on YouTube, and I'll talk to you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.